Hi everyone, and welcome to Creative Chelsey. Today I'm sharing with you my second alternative project that I created using the contents from the Fun in the Sun Paper Pumpkin Kit, which was the July 2023 kit. This kit comes with everything you need to make these 3 cards. There are enough supplies to make 3 of each card. They're super cute, fun fold cards. And I'm really excited to share with you today a fun idea that you can do with these card bases that's a little unique than this fun fold design. If by chance you need some help putting these cards together, you can check out my unboxing video, which I will link up here in the top right corner. That will connect you to the playlist where you can also find the other alternatives I will be sharing this week. This is the card that I've created with one of the card bases from the kit. So yesterday we made a really quick and simple card out of the inside piece. So today we're going to be using the rest of the card to make this vertical slimline card with a shaker element. So I'm really excited to share with you how I made this card. So we're going to go back and grab that card base. So this is the card base. It had a blue and kind of a crumb cake insert, and we cut that out and used it on yesterday's card. So if you haven't seen that, you can go check that out on that playlist up in the top right corner. So a slimline card like this uses a card base that is 8.5 inches by 7 inches and scored at 3.5 inches. And so we're going to need to cut our card base down to 3.5 inches so that it can fit on our slimline card. So here on the left side, I'm going to go ahead and line it up at 3.5 and then remove again down here. And you're going to want to save any of those little pieces because you never know how I'm going to use them in a future alternative. So now we've got the right size for our slimline card. The next step is to create my shaker element. And we're going to place that underneath this opening here. So this was a little bit of, I kind of had to try and find something that was going to work because it needed to be sealed on the right because we weren't going to be adding any adhesive here. So you can see that it's a little bit loose, but just the way we add it, it doesn't catch or come off or anything. So it needed to be sealed along one side. So I grabbed a clear envelope. Stampin' Up! Sells these. I love them and use them for lots of different things. And so if you need to purchase those, you can find the item number below in the description. But I don't need the whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my paper trimmer and I'm going to cut it in half. So it is a 4.5 inch width. So I'm going to cut it at 2.25 inches all the way down. And it doesn't really matter which side you use. And you can save one of the sides for a second card if you like this design. So down here at the top of the envelope, it's open as you can see. I need to create a edge here that will hold all of my sequins inside. So I'm going to take my tear and tape that came in the kit and I'm going to see how it's open on 2 sides. So I'm going to start near the closed edge on the right. It might be really hard for you to see because it's clear, but I'm going to add my adhesive to this area here. And I don't need to worry about it going all the way in. I'm actually only going to do about half. So I've got half of the tear and tape inside my envelope and half on the outside. And to make things a little easier, I might just tear that off there. The nice thing is that if by chance it doesn't go in right, it's plastic and it comes off the tear and tape pretty easily. Okay, so then you're just going to try to make sure that you get this plastic in the right spot. I'm going to try again. This time I'm going to try to maybe just lay it, the paper backing side, on the opposite side. That might be easier to work with. There we go. I think it is. Okay, so I'm kind of focusing on laying it down. It's not easy. We'll try one more time. Okay, so I'm kind of laying it down on top of the, let's just flip it around, bottom piece. I did do this already, so I know it's possible. I think the hardest part is that it's really hard to see. Okay, there we go. So I'm laying it down on top, and then I will fold. So I've got it where I want it, and then I'll just lay the other piece on top. And as long as I'm getting a little bit of that plastic on there, I think I should be fine. So it looks like it's completely on there, but it's not, there's not a lot. There's even just a little bit, it's fine. You just need to connect and seal it. Okay, if you want to add, like lift it up, you can. So remember, it's easy to remove if you feel like you need to have a little more on there. So just be patient with yourself until you have it attached. So once it's attached, you can go ahead and remove it, the paper backing, and then just make sure it's nice and flat. Okay, try not to attach it to anything. And then what we're going to do, so now we've got a connected thing here. Now we're going to just fold it over. So this side, this is the side where the top will fold in. Maybe I gotta put my sequins in first. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fold the leftover adhesive on top of itself. Maybe even fold one more time, just to make sure I've got a nice sealed edge there. You're not gonna see this. This is gonna go behind your card front, okay? All right, so I've got a nice sealed edge. So no sequins are gonna come out of that. The sequins I'm using are some retired sequins. They come in this 4-pack. I think they were called For Everything sequins. And I'm just gonna use these gold and silver and white ones. Looks like I got an orange one in there. A couple pinches. You don't need too many. It's a small space. But if you are a sequin lover, you can definitely put more in. Whoops, they're kind of going all over the place. Go in, maybe. Okay, I'm gonna just do one more big pinch. There we go. So then you'll want to seal that up with the top. Okay. All right. So now you've got your sequins with my 2 little orange ones. I could fish those out if I wanted to. I'm not gonna worry about it. So now let's add it to the back of our card front. So you're going to take your tear and tape again, and you're gonna add it just to the edge around that opening. Okay, so one thing that's important is there is a little bit of adhesive that's shown where that flap is. So you do see that's the flap that I pulled over to hold all the sequins in. I do want that near the bottom because we're gonna cover up that space. So if it right now is at the top, you can just flip it over and then it will be at the bottom. Okay, once you decide where that is, you're just going to place your corners over the adhesive so that it's nice and straight and connects those corners together. So this edge is straight all the way down. And then you can see that flap a little bit, but again, I'm gonna cover that up and you won't even see it. So fun. So next we're going to add a coordinating color behind this so that we don't see the white. And I'm going to do that with more adhesive. And I'm going to connect it. Oh, looks like my tear and tape is out. So let me grab some more. I always hold on to any extra adhesives from the kits. And I know we've used tear and tape before. So just go all the way to the edge. Make sure to hold that down so it's nice and firmly adhered there. Okay, so hopefully you've been able to follow along with how I created this little pocket for my sequins. It's a really fun look. I'm excited to share it with you. So the background piece I actually got from one of the envelopes, and it's just this back side piece. So you're gonna just remove all the edges so that you can get that back piece. Just like that. And of course, save your front for another card. And you can see here that it's going to go right on top. You may have some adhesive that's still showing, and that's just going to help everything adhere to the card. And I'm going to go, I think I want like a 2-inch. So right along that edge, I'm going to cut 2 inches. And I'm not going to worry about any little pieces because that's going to get hidden. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove the tear and tape. And place that edge. I want the lighter color. So that edge is also going to go right to those corners. I want to make sure I get it on my adhesive. So make sure that you're connecting to the adhesive all the way across. Okay. There you can see how now we've got this really beautiful shaker card. Now we're going to add it to our card base. Oh, that's the wrong one. So I'm going to take some more tear and tape. And if you don't want to use tear and tape for this, you don't have to. And I'm going to go all the way down and across on one side, and then do that on the other side. And then if you want to do it to the top and bottom, you can too. There's a little bit of adhesive here in the middle, and I'm actually going to use that to hold things in place as I line it up. So go ahead and place it on, and then just press really firmly along those adhesive. And then once that's in place, you can remove the paper backing from your other pieces. Okay. Oops. Okay, so everything is in place. It looks beautiful and super fun with those sequins inside. Okay, so as I was looking at my card, there is so much of the sky. And so I wanted to bring a little interest into it. And so I'm going to go ahead and use my blending brush, and I'm going to use Pool Party, which is kind of that color in the background. And what you're looking for is one of the, you're going to save, hopefully you've saved all of the extra pieces. So this is the piece that I've used. So it's the top here of this cloud shape that I'm looking for. So if you look for the one that had the sign on it, and then the palm tree, which we're going to be using for this. This is that piece here. So this is the section that I'm using. And you're just going to take your blending brush and that opening, and we're going to add just some clouds. And that's going to give this section some interest and make it so that it's fun instead of just boring. Make sure when you're using a blending brush that you stamp or you kind of pat off any dark color before you start to add it to your card. And you can flip it over too if you want maybe the shapes to be a little bit different as you move down your card base. So fun. Okay, and you can kind of go close to this edge if you want. You don't need to worry about any ink getting onto your clear area because you can just wipe it off. So that shouldn't worry you too much. I'm going to do one right about here. You can always peek at it to see if it's dark enough before moving it too. And then we'll just do one more right about here. I'm going to use this side. I think maybe just in the middle. Kind of a faint one right there. There we go. Okay. So something like that. Another fun element that I wanted to add were a couple starfish here at the bottom. And you could do this before adding it to your card base, but I didn't do that. So we're going to do it on our card base. So it's important when you're adding it that you feel if there's any bumps, because if there's bumps, you're not going to get a very good image. So I have no bumps right here, so I'm just going to stamp my starfish there, and then there's no bumps here. So I'm going to stamp 2 starfish kind of in this corner down here, and I'll probably call that good because there's a lot more bumps right here from the sequins and stuff. And then the last thing I wanted to stamp is the sun, but I'm going to add my greeting first. So let's go ahead and add some of these extra pieces. So I've got my palm tree and I have my little, this is that little rectangle that came in the kit. It's for one of your greetings. And I'm using Relax, You Deserve It. And I want to stamp that in a darker color. So I pulled in the Azure Blue, which is this dark blue right here. If you have a different color blue or even a black or a dark brown, any of those colors would work. Just want to stamp it right in the center of that piece there. And then we're going to pop up these pieces with dimensionals. Okay, so now that I've added dimensionals to the back of these die cut pieces, I'm going to go ahead and add them to my card. So I want the edge of this palm tree to sit right along the edge of this opening here. So something like that. I'm also looking for the edge of my water to kind of be blocked by the palm tree. I don't want there to be a big gap. So you'll notice that I left the gap here on the right. And then my greeting, I want to place right along the edge of this score line, and that's going to hide it so that it's not as noticeable. Then I can take my sun and the Daffodil Delight Stampin' Spot that came in the kit, and I'm just going to stamp a sun right along the edge above the greeting, just like that. And I didn't add any extra sequins because I think the sequins from the shaker element just give this card the perfect amount of sparkle that it needs. And so this card is all done. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me create this fun shaker card from the Fun Fold card bases in the July 2023 Paper Pumpkin Kit. If you're interested in getting written instructions or seeing close-up images on how I created this card, you can visit my blog, creativechelsey.com. I hope you have a creative day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.